Okay, here's that much talked about video on FTP. I've got a little page here that I developed demonstrating a displaced rollover where you can roll over an area and then a separate area also displays a rollover image. I'm going to put this up to my FreeHostia site, and then later, if you want, you can get the code for it. So let's put that away because that was just doing a demo from this page, from this HTML page. But let's see how to upload that using Dreamweaver. So what I've done, I've gone into site and managed sites. I've just got a little site here called test with this page named in its root folder. Here we go. I'll edit that. Here's test. There I've identified my root folder, my displaced rollover folder. The big trick with CS5 is in this interface for managed sites, there are some items here in this left column. And this is the one that will be really key. It's called servers. Right now I've got one pre-made here for myself called FreeHostia, and I've got my information for freehostia.com up there, and I'm going to connect through FTP. I've named this as a remote site. You'll start off and this field will be blank. What you'll do is you'll hit this plus sign to add a server. You'll name your server. You will probably connect via FTP. If you were doing some e-commerce, you'd want secure FTP. But for this, I'm sure just regular FTP will be fine. Your ISP has hopefully sent you an FTP address that you can use in that next field. You'll quite likely be using port 21. That's kind of a default, but they leave that field editable because sometimes they'll specify that you need to use 22, particularly for SFTP. You'll enter your username that your ISP has sent you or that you created at your ISP. Probably they've sent this to you in an email because it's probably one they've assigned to you at random. And they have hopefully also sent you a password. Now the tricky part will be this root directory, and I'll show you what I put for my FreeHostia site. You can also enter the ultimate URL, or the URL where this will ultimately be displayed once you upload it. And I'll show you what I've got here in this field that I've created. This place where it says server name, that's for your own benefit because you might find yourself having 2 or 3 different servers on here. You might have a remote, your regular remote server. You might have a testing server someplace where the site isn't quite live in the sense that it won't be accessible through its normal URL. But you could test it up there and give your client that special URL. That's one thing that you could do. So you can have multiple servers, and you can name them whatever you like. But in this case, it made sense to kind of name it after my ISP. They sent me this FTP address, ftp.freehostia.com. And Dreamweaver doesn't make you populate it with FTP : something.com. You can just forego that first part, the FTP : and it kind of does that for you by virtue of being in this field. There's my username, my password. I've told it to save my password because I don't particularly like looking it up. It'll test this for me, but first let me show you the root directory. In my case, it's /accmgd.freehostia.com. This is the one where it might be /usr /www /mysite.com, something like that. And then here's my ultimately my URL. And there we go. Let's see. And I can test this, which is great because you don't have to click save and then go try it out in Dreamweaver. You can just test it right here, and it'll take this FTP address, your username, password, root directory, and it'll ping that location for you. Here we go. And it's connecting, and it says we are successful. Fantastic. Now I can save that, and you might also want to use this item under advanced settings. I won't mess with most of these, but the one that you might want to use is cloaking. If you've got .fla files or .psd files in your workup folder and they're really giant and you really don't want to load them up to your site, you can specify any file name endings that you don't want to load up there. .fla and .psd are good ones to start with. If you've got others that are particularly large and it's the only kind of file with that ending name on it, you can specify that as well. So now I'll hit save and done, and here under my files menu is our next big thing. If you don't have the files menu, it is of course here under window up in your top menu, files. And let's see, we want to click this button right here, the two little squares with the arrow, expand to show local and remote sites. This is a really handy way to do this. So on my test site, this is the name of my managed site here, test. Oh, and there's my site management. I'll cancel out of that because we've been there. What we want now is the little plugin. It's going to connect to my remote server. Now in my case, I've got a site up there already. I've got an index from a previous incarnation. So what we want to do is, what I need to do actually is set up another little folder to put that into. Let's see. And you won't have to do this for yours. Here's my displaced, and there are my PSDs that are not going to load, by the way. I'm kind of glad we opened up the root folder. Because of cloaking, hopefully these won't load. I'm going to create just another empty folder here that I'm going to utilize in my remote site. Normally you won't have to do this step. You can just drag your index page straight over there. Let's see. I'll call this I'll call this rollovers, because I'm going to have you go to this this address at the end. Oops, here's my files. Okay. So I've got this rollover folder. I'm going to load that over here first because I don't want to interfere with my existing site. So I'm going to put my index page from this displaced rollover site into this rollovers folder over here. I just had to create it in a place where I could access it. I could open up this on the left here and then do put files. But I think what I'll do is another method where I can drag my index page over, and I'll place that in this rollovers folder, and it's going to ask me a question. It's going to say put dependent files, and so any files that are dependent to this index page, my images, my CSS, it will put those in there if I tell it to. Let's see. And it's got some details that it's printed on here, but basically if I say yes, it's going to put all those dependent files in this same folder with my index page. So let's do that. Hopefully it did that, or it's doing that. Oh, maybe I was too slow. Let's see. Let me delete. I want to try that again. I can right click, delete. There we go. Yes. Let's try that again. I'm going to put my index page over here in this rollovers folder, and I'll click yes right away. Ah, there we go. Now it's grabbing all these other files. I was too slow last time. So see, it's listing them. It's grabbing all my GIF files, and it should be, yes, it did. It grabbed the images folder as well, and my CSS folder as well. So in this case, I didn't necessarily need my cloaking. If I had done the big arrow here, put files, then it would cloak those files. But I've got everything I need, and now I can disconnect from that, and I can go to either Safari or Firefox or whatever browser I'm using, and I can put in my URL accmgd.freehostia.com, and let's see, we've got now there. This is the existing site that I had, but I put my new site in a folder called rollovers, right? Rollovers, and it goes to my new index page in rollovers, and here we've got these displaced rollovers, which I did by selecting that nav in Dreamweaver and telling it to do a swap image for the nav, but also a swap image for this other div that I had on the page. I may just do one last movie about that for you, because it's kind of fun. People like to do it. But that's the site that I just put up there at my URL, but in a folder called rollovers, and then it goes to my index page in that folder once I name that folder in the address here. So that's how to do FTP in Dreamweaver. The first thing to do is make sure you've got your root folder all set up properly. You want to do manage sites, name the root folder, and then here under server, name your FTP address, username, password, root directory, and then from there you can utilize that files menu, and you'll want to hit this button where we can see remote and local views at the same time. You will connect with the little plug icon, and then you can just drag your index page to the right place, and it'll ask you if you want to have all the dependent files with it, and you can say yes, and there they are. So hope that works out, and have fun with Dreamweaver's file transfer protocol.